Namaste. Hello and welcome to the Kundalini podcast. That was Zen. This is Tao. I'm Vivek Govekar. This is episode 51. In the last episode, I talked about laziness. This was based on a comment I received in the episode before that. And because of that video went too long, I had to do some editing and chopped off the previous part. Usually when I say hello, welcome, thank you. That was episode 50. So I would like to thank all of the viewers who have made this such an enjoyable process for me. I didn't know, I had no idea about what was going to happen when I first started making these videos. I just wanted to pass on this knowledge of Kundalini to people. But it's been fascinating. Thank you for all your feedback, and you've made this a wonderful experience for me. So having said that, let me move into a similar subject to the last video. In that video, I talked about laziness and what it means. Just inaction, does that mean laziness? Is it somebody's perception that you're lazy? How to kind of discipline yourself into doing things, making it a routine, how to set routines. And this is a long and complex subject, both on the practical level and on the spiritual level. So I thought I'd extend that conversation into another video. And so I'm continuing that into this. So I left off in the last video talking about Wu Wei, W-U-W-E-I, a concept from Taoism. Now, how this ties into laziness and what I want to talk about as the flip side of all of this is relevant, very deep, and important if you want a complete picture of this spiritual process that I'm talking about. So let's say laziness, inactivity, as it's commonly seen in popular day-to-day activities, somebody not doing something or not feeling the need to do something that they're supposed to do. Overaction, obsessiveness, not being able to rest. So these are two sides of the spectrum. I'd like to go a little bit deeper than that and talk about how the spiritual process is a series of steps which involve discarding all knowledge that you have accumulated that is no longer useful. And this ties into so many things that I have talked in the past. Chop wood, carry water, where I've talked about making every activity a meditation. In an episode called Samsara is Nirvana, I talk about how this everyday reality does not need to be bypassed. You just need to be more in tune with it to be able to get into samadhi. What I talked about in the last episode, which is about Sahaj Yoga, Sahaj Samadhi. Sahaj means simple or easy. How to effortlessly slip into meditation. All of this are different facets of the same thing that is being talked about. If you go back and watch that video, Samsara is Nirvana, and chop wood, carry water, and then listen to what I'm saying here, it will all make sense. So let me start first by giving two examples, okay? Again, from my past, related to singing and photography. What's the concept behind trying to be a good photographer? Photography is an excellent example, but music is also an example. I love to listen to Indian classical music and also Western classical music. But one of my favorite singers is someone called Pandit Kumar Gandharva. He was revolutionary. The man was handicapped by the fact that he lost one lung to tuberculosis. So he couldn't sing in a set way. He couldn't sing long paragraphs the way it's sung, called a tan, in regular classical music. So he developed his own style and he made it fit into classical music. It was very revolutionary. Some people call him a renegade. Some people just call him like, this is absurd. This is not real. Purists, think that that's not real music. But here's a very interesting concept that he once said, and I apply to photography. In spite of being an amazing virtuoso talent in classical music, knowing every single nuance, not only at the technical level, but also at the metaphysical level. Like, this guy could see these notes. Like, when he would think of notes as something of a sonic architecture in time-space, and he was molding that into sound. Something amazing, a phenomenal concept, right? And somebody of that level, who even among musicians is considered a genius, said that the purpose of singing, the purpose of classical music, the purpose of training is not to show off your expertise. Okay? Not to show off your expertise to a bunch of people who have come to listen to music. Sometimes when I see people who have trained a lot in classical music, or are considered musicians or singers or on a certain pedestal, and a group of people are singing, let's say somebody who is not a very good singer or an amateur, I'm kind of in between trying to learn. If you're in a group of people just sing for fun, right? So you say, hey, come on, sing a song. And you sing a song, everybody enjoys it. The trained singer gets into this uptight mode, like, oh, no, I haven't trained on this song. What are the exact scales? Can I go into this? In the opinion of this person, Kumar Gandharva, that person, individual, who is an expert, is really not an expert. They are at an intermediate stage. What they have done is, they have taken all this knowledge and clutter, and in that process, they have forgotten the main purpose behind all of this. The purpose is to sing. So if you're sitting in a group of people and somebody says, sing, a part of your mind that is attached to the training, attached to the technicalities, attached to how will this sound, has not been removed, where you can just sit and say, oh, sing. The adjustment has not been made to understand that, oh, ultimately this is all just singing. And I just got lost in all the technicalities. This happens to every profession. As a scientist, sometimes there are these prizes called the Ig Nobels. They get so involved in the science that they don't realize that whatever they were researching, the paper they published, was on something so silly and laughable. But you're so caught up in that scientific jargon that you were not aware that you were doing that. Okay? It's very easy to get caught up in all of this, too much. So a process of simplification is needed on a regular basis. Similarly with photography. When I see photographers out there taking pictures, and you say, hey, wow, look at that beautiful scene. Take a picture. And he's like, no, the light is not right, and I don't have the right equipment, and I don't have the exact light bouncing off of whatever. No, take a picture. If part of your training has not been just being able to pick up your smartphone and take a picture and compose it under those circumstances, in that setting, then you've kind of missed the point, and your journey is not complete. But you think that your journey is so complete and you're so trained now, such an expert, that you cannot be brought down and bothered to do basic things. But listen to what I said in the last video about using Twitter, using text messaging to make yourself a better writer. Now, if somebody's an author and you ask them to write a blog, one blog page, and they're like, no, this interferes with my process. But someone like me, who has trained on Twitter to become a good writer, I can write a blog page, I can write a 2-page article, a 140 structured tweet. And all of it is writing. Conversely, someone might look at my tweets or Facebook post and say, this is just affectation. This is just somebody trying to act like they know better English. And they don't understand the process and the journey. So in a Twitter sense, I might just look like this unhip person who's like, okay, look at this guy. He's not using it the best way he can. He's writing whole words. But there's a purpose behind it. So if you're getting the gist of what I'm saying in all of this, it is that the activity needs to have a purpose. And when you have overcomplicated something to the point that the activity itself, why you started it in the first place, to be able to sing, to be able to take a picture, if that is now obscured by all of this jargon, technicality, you're on a certain pedestal, those are the obstructions. That is not your expertise. So, Kumar Gandharva, the virtuoso singer who added to the science of singing, the art form of singing, because of his handicap and made it something different and unique. If you asked him to sing in just a group of people, he could sing a song. It's about the singing. It's about everybody getting pleasure without the technicality being understood or explained or expressed in a certain way. Similarly, if my daughter is playing around and I manage to take a picture of her, see, that moment in time is not coming back. She's not going to be 7 years old again. That better be caught. If you're already good at photography, using any camera at your disposal, let's say a smartphone, the chances of that picture being caught are going to be better. And you're just living your life. So you're incorporating your skills into your life, your day-to-day activities, and not the other way around. Which is something I say in another video, where I say that meditation or the method is not something to be bound to. The method is being used to help you. So I started photography, or started to really get better and think of it technically, when my daughter was born. I had this easy target who was jumping around, laughing, giving great poses naturally. And all I had to do was be there, take those pictures, and I became technically better at that. So even my family album are professional grade pictures. But if I take a professional shoot with good equipment, that's going to be even better. That's going to add to what I do with the smartphone. It all works together. Your barriers, your obstructions, how you perceive something to be, can help you get better. But unless you discard some of that junk and come back to that reset point, being in this moment, not resting on past accomplishments, I've said that in another video. Unless you do that, unless that cleaning up is not there, then you won't be able to enjoy it to the best of your ability. As I have said, an activity that you do remains ingrained in your consciousness, whether you actively think about it or not. You don't have to actively carry all of this knowledge. So, learn something new, discard something, and don't get caught up in the technicality of it to the point that you're paralyzed. There is something called paralysis by analysis. Sometimes we overthink something and lose the opportunity of just doing it spontaneously. So that's the flip side of all of these things. You get too regimented, you know too much about something, which is the opposite of laziness, then these problems start to arise. You have to discard some things, let go, let new things come in, and your ego becomes a barrier for learning new things. It is as true on the spiritual path as it is on photography or any of those things. It is easy to get caught up in what is said in books. No, that's not important. On the Kundalini path, in spirituality, the only thing that matters is your personal experiences. Whether they match something in a book or not, you can find out later. But if it doesn't match that experience and you're craving, I want to have that experience, now you've set up a barrier. Now that expectation has become a barrier to further progress. No expectations, being in the moment and just doing the activity, discovering through mindful awareness where your barriers were, overcoming them and discarding that junk so that you can move on to the next thing. Okay, so these are just some concepts related to inactivity, laziness, how to do something better but not be bound by it now to the point that you're paralyzed. How to enjoy every activity and make it part of your daily routine so that it becomes that state of samsara is nirvana. Wu Wei, something is happening, that action is being recorded as a picture. I'm not consciously focused on the technical aspects. Neither do I think, I need obsessively a bigger camera. I wish I had that bigger camera. You're happy to get that image the way you did with that smartphone. And because of everything that you've put in, your hard work, automatically you end up taking a really good photo. All of this becoming that oneness, focusing on that one point, is awakening, is enlightenment. That's the attempt here. I hope this was not too confusing. I'm trying to get too many concepts all in one, and you might have to watch some of these other previous videos. But this is what I have to say on the subject. I hope you found it helpful. Thank you. Be well.